Okay, on this video I'm going to show you how to graph linear equations. So, when we graph, we mainly use the equation slope-intercept form, and that form looks like this. We have y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, the slope is the m value, and the y-intercept is the b value. When you use this equation, you have to make sure that y is by itself, and you have some problems where it is not by itself. If that's the case, you get it by itself. I'll do some examples like that. Okay, now the m is the slope, and definition of slope is rise over run. The value on top is called the rise, and it will move you up or down depending on the sign. If the value is positive, you move up. If it's negative, you move down. If it's zero, you stay there. Now the value on the bottom is called the run. Okay, and that value would either move you right or left depending on the sign. If it's positive, you go to the right. If it's negative, you move to the left. If it's zero, you stay there. Okay, and the number that's by itself, no x, no y, that's called the y-intercept. Now, when you're graphing, first, you're supposed to do the y-intercept first, and secondly, you're supposed to do the slope. Okay, now you're supposed to know is the following. If you have a positive slope, a positive slope means the following. If positive slope means the line is moving up. As you move from the left to the right, you're gonna keep moving up. If that's the case, it's a positive slope. What about a negative slope? Negative slope means as you move from the left side, left to the right, you're gonna keep moving down. So that's a negative slope. And what if m is equal to 0? If that's the case, you're not moving up or down, you're moving straight horizontal. Okay? Now, let me do some examples. Start with easy ones, and slowly we make our way to more complicated ones. Okay? Okay, these are the first examples. And in this case, the y is by itself. So the m is whatever number is next to the x. So in this case, my m is equal to 5 over 3. Okay, so in this case, my rise is 5, and I'm going to move up because it's positive, and my run is 3 to the right because it's positive. And my b value, or the y-intercept, will be 1. So first, find 1 somewhere in here. So 1 will be right about here. And then from there, go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And that's the point right here. Okay? Take your ruler. Draw a line between those points, and that'll be your graph. So if you know the slope and the y-intercept, most than likely you know the graph already. Okay? So this was easy because the y was by itself already. Just find the m, the b, and graph it. Okay? Second problem. The y is by itself already. So this is the m value, the slope. So in this case, the m will be negative 1/2. And this is my rise, and this is my run. Now there's only one negative, there's no two negatives. When that happens, you have a choice. You can either put it on top or in the bottom, but the only one place, not both of them. Okay, so in this case, I'll put the negative on top. And the b value, if you notice, there's no number in here. Okay, there is no number in here. So if that's the case, the b is 0. So find 0 anywhere in here on the b value. So 0 on the y value, on the y-axis is right here. Now my rise is -1, so I'm gonna go down 1, and my run is positive 2 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1 to the right, down 1 to the right. Okay, now draw a line between them, and that'll be your answer. So that is your graph. Okay, so as you can see, if they gave you the y by itself already, it shouldn't be that complicated. Okay, once you find the m and the b, technically you have the graph already. Okay, now I don't know if you noticed, but I did use many points, and the reason for that is the more points you have, the more precise your graph is. And basically the way I do it is I put as many spaces as I have room, many dots as I have room. Okay, so in this case I have 4 space for 4, so I put in 4. And this case I didn't have that much space, so I only had 2 of them. Okay, but the more points you have, the more precise your graph is. Okay, so now let me get more complicated graphs. Okay, now let me do example 3 and 4, and like before, they gave me the y by itself already. So you have to do is find the m and the b. So in this case, the m is -1. And like I told you, it has to be a fraction. If it's not, you make it a fraction by putting on 100. And this is my rise. And the value in the bottom will be the run. And the b value will be 3. So find 3 on the y-axis. Y on 3-axis will be right about here. Now my rise is -1, 1 down because it's negative, and my run is 1. So -1, 1 to the right, down 1, 1 to the right, down 1, 1 to the right. Okay, take your ruler and draw a line between them. And that'll be your answer. Okay, so as you can see, well, this problem, the y is by itself already. What made it a little bit more challenging was the fact that you needed to make the m a fraction. Okay, now problem number 4, the y is already by itself, so this right here will be the m value. So in this case, the m value will be 1 over 2. Now I need, this is my rise, and the value on the bottom will be your run. Now I need the b value. I see nothing in here, so in that case the b value is 0. So on the y-axis, find the number 0 and put a point right there. Now my rise is 1 and my run is 2. Go 1 up, 2 to the right, up 1, 2 to the right. Now take your ruler and draw a line between them. And that'll be your answer. So what made this problem a little more challenging was the fact that there is no b. Okay? But if there's nothing in there, nothing, that means that b is 0. Now the next examples, 5 and 6, what happens is the y is not by itself. So you have to just get it by itself. So let me keep it over here. I have 3x plus 2y is equal to -6. Now we follow the steps that we did first semester. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, and decimals. We have none of them. Number 2, combine like terms. On the left, 3x and 2y cannot be combined, and they can be combined because they're different. They have to be like terms in order to combine them. In this case, they cannot be combined. On the right hand side, this cannot be combined, the negative 6, because it is by itself. Number 3, separate y's and everything else. In this case, the y is on the left, so I want y is on the left. And over here, I would like to have numbers and x's. So on the left side, I want both of them to have a y. 3x does not have a y, so get rid of it. So we do the opposite, negative 3x. And when you do to one side, you must do it to the other side. Now these are opposites, so guess what happens? They're going to cancel. So you have 2y is equal to, the negative 6 and the negative 3x can be combined because they're different, so the answer is negative 6 minus 3x. So there you have it. I separate the y's and numbers and x's. Y's on the left, numbers and x's on the right. Now get the y by itself. And to get the y by itself, we divide by 2. Do the same to the other side, divide by 2, divide by 2. So the answer, the 2's cancel, so you have y is equal. Negative 6 divided by 2 will give you negative 3. And 3 cannot be divided by 2 evenly, so the answer will be negative 3 over 2. If it doesn't divide out, leave it like that, no problem. Okay, now I need the m value. The m, or the slope, is the number that's right next to the x. So in this case, this is my m. That's what's next to the x. So that's negative 3 over 2. And the b value will be negative 3. This is the m value. So find negative 3 on the y-axis. Negative 3 will be right about here. And from there, let's put the negative on top. My rise is negative 3. Go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And positive 2 to the right. Now use your ruler. Connect those two values, and that'll be your answer. So you can see what made it more challenging is the fact that the letter is not by itself, the y. But if it's not by itself, you can get it by itself. And so the hard work is getting the y by itself. The graph itself is very, very simple. Okay? Now, example number 6. Same problem. The y is not by itself. So I have to get it by itself. And in this case, it will be very, very simple. Yes, divide by negative 6. And we do to one side, do to the other side. The negative 6 are going to cancel, so you have y is equal to negative 4x over negative 6. And this, in this case, this will be your m value. So my m would be slope negative 4 over negative 6. This is my rise, and this is my run. Now there's nothing here, so that means the b value will be 0. So on the y-axis, find 0, put a point in there. Now my rise is negative 4, and because it's negative, I move down 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my run is negative 6 is negative, so I should go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, take your ruler, connect those points, and that'll be your answer. So as you can see, what makes it a little bit more challenging is getting the y by itself, but it is doable. Okay? Now, last example that I have for you is this right here. Now, this tends to be a little bit more complicated. Okay? If you notice the y is not by itself, you get it by itself. Okay? So here's how you're going to get it by itself. Okay? Follow the steps that I showed you. So step number 1 is eliminate parentheses, fractions, or decimals. Okay? I have a fraction, and the way you get rid of the fraction is you multiply by 3. So this side, all of it, we will multiply by 3. And we do to one side, do to the other. So what is 3 times negative y? Will be negative 3y. 3 times 4 will give you 12 plus 12. Now, what is 3 multiplied by 2/3? Okay. If that's a fraction, the other one should be a fraction. They cancel. All you have is 2 over 1, and 2 over 1 will give you 2. So this is actually plus 2x. And that's equal to 0 multiplied by 3 will give you 0. Okay. Step number 2 is combine like terms. On the left side, they cannot be canceled because they're not like, they're all different. Now the right side, if I try to combine anything, I can because there's nothing in there. Step number 3 is separate y's and everything else. In this problem, the y is on the left. So on the left side, I'm going to put in y's. And on the right hand side, I would like to have numbers and x's. Now, on the left side, 12, it doesn't have a y, so get rid of it. So I'm going to do minus 12. What you do to one side, you must do it to the other. Now, that will cause 12 to cancel. I can cancel them. Now, 2x does not have a y, get rid of it. So I'm going to do minus 2x. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. These are opposites, they're going to cancel. So all you have is negative 3y is equal to 0 minus 12 will give you negative 12 minus 2x. Okay. And last step, get the y by itself. So you do that by dividing by negative 3. Dividing by negative 3. Both sides by negative 3. These cancel, so you have y is equal to negative 12 divided by negative 3 will give you 4. Now the 2 does not divide even, the 2 does not divide evenly by 3. And a negative divided by negative will give you a positive. And since 2/3 doesn't divide evenly, leave it as 2, 3x. So there you have it, the y is all by itself. So now the m value, the slope, is the number that you have right next to the x. The number that's right next to the x is 2 over 3. So m is 2 over 3. Remember, this is my rise value, and this is my run. Rise up 2 because it's positive, run 3 to the right because it's positive. And my b value will be 4. So on the y-axis, look for the number 4 and put a point in there. Now from there, go up 2 and 3 to the right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now take your ruler, Connect those 2 points with a straight line, and that'll be your answer. Okay, so as you can see, the hard work is getting the y by itself. Okay, the actual graph is not that complicated. Okay, now last example, example number 8. Like before, get the y by itself. Okay, follow the steps. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, or decimals. There's none of them. So step number 2, separate y and numbers and x's. Okay, so the y is right here. I like to have y right here on this side, and on this side I like to have numbers and x's. So what I'm gonna do is, on the right hand side, he doesn't have a y, so get rid of it. -3, -3. And the x doesn't have a y, so get rid of it. Do the opposite. The opposite of negative x will be positive x. Positive x. Now this cancels, you have y is equal to x -3. Okay, and there you have it. The y is by itself, so you can tell me what is the m slope and what is the b value. The m is the number that you see right here. You may say there's no number, but that this is really 1x, so this is a 1. There's a 1 in there. And the slope has to be a fraction. If it's not a fraction, you make it a fraction. And the b value is -3. Find -3 on the y-axis. -3 will be right about here. Now rise 1 up, 1 to the right. Up 1, 1 to the right. Do these as many times as you can. And then take your ruler and connect those points with a straight line, and that'll be your answer. Okay, so as you can see, any challenging problem is one that doesn't have y by itself, but you can do it. Okay, so look at this video and then go in Google Classroom, and any assignment that I gave you on graphing linear equations, do them as practice. On Monday, when we go back to school, I'll be there for tutoring, and then the quiz for the extra credit will be on Friday. Okay? Have a safe Easter break, and see you on Monday. Thank you. Bye-bye.